Welcome back. Now, if you call yourself a Kiwi, chances are you've been to Marineland in Napier. It's the only place left in New Zealand where dolphins are kept in captivity, and millions have watched them perform over the last 40 years. But times have changed, and Marineland is struggling against the tide by trying to find a mate for its one remaining captive dolphin, Kelly. Could this leave Marineland dead in the water? Mark Kreisel with the story.
They were one of the hardest working couples in show business.
Here's a new dance. It's called Dolphin Boogie.
Shona and Kelly, together for more than 30 years, entertaining mum, dad and the kids at Napier's Marineland. Did you enjoy the show?
Yeah, it was great.
Here she comes.
I like the dolphin when he was holding the ball.
Right, here we go. She gets it on her. Oh,
The dolphins built a strong bond with the staff.
Guys, look at this big, wet, fishy, smoochy kisses.
If I went in the water, Shona would come and lie in my arms, and that was always very special.
But it all came to an end in April.
All of a sudden, just on this particular Friday afternoon, one of the staff came and said, "Shona's on the bottom."
Shona had died at the grand old dolphin age of 36. She had lived about twice as long as a dolphin in the wild. Kelly now swims alone, and the debate over whether her mate should be replaced has hit stormy waters.
Just as we've moved on from smoking in public places, we've moved on from dolphins in pools.
Once Marineland has gone, we have lost a national icon. Nothing's surer.
What sort of percentage spectator drop would we take if we don't have dolphins? And we reckon it'll be 70, 75%. Hey, it could be 80%.
How has Kelly changed since Shona died?
I think she's become a lot more in need of attention, and that's very understandable, of course.
Marineland on Napier's Marine Parade has been around for more than 40 years. In that time, close to 5 million people have watched these sea animals perform. The Queen was one of them. Gary MacDonald started working here in 1972. He's now the manager. Gary was on the boat that captured Shona and Kelly and trained them when they were brought to Marineland.
I was Shona's first trainer, and he built up a very special bond. Yeah.
Napier in the sunny Hawke's Bay. Its best known icons are wine, Pioneer of the Reef, and the Art Deco buildings erected on top of the rubble of the 1931 earthquake. Marineland is one too, but on a wet and cold Labour weekend, it has all the charm of a faded, down on its luck, English seaside town. The penguin kids pay to have their photo taken with is blind. Kelly swims around and around an area about the same size as a backyard pool. But is this big enough for her to swim around in? To spend a whole life in a pool this big?
No, we'd love to have bigger pools here at Marineland, most definitely, but as far as the law is concerned, this is big enough. How do we feel about it? We'd love to have bigger everything. Of course we would.
Marineland desperately needs a $15 million upgrade, but it needs more dolphins to bring the punters in.
Okay, here we are. Coming up!
The government won't allow them to capture dolphins from the wild as they once did.
The mother stays with the young dolphin, keeping it on the surface and trying to free it.
It was a traumatic experience and many dolphins died.
And so to Marineland of New Zealand, Napier, Jill's new...
These days you need a permit to import dolphins bred in marine zoos. But the lobby against keeping them in captivity is strong. Animal welfare groups, zoologists and DOC say the time for performing animals in captivity is gone.
And I'm sure you'll agree with us, that's very good for something she wasn't supposed to be able to do.
It's effectively and actually imprisonment for our entertainment. And these are sophisticated, socially extraordinarily interesting animals. And I don't think that's okay.
Dr. Steve Dawson of Otago University has been studying dolphins for decades.
Now, what do you really learn about dolphins from watching them in captivity? You learn that they can swim, you learn that they can jump, and you learn that they're quite bright. They can do some interesting things. Well, we knew all that already. You don't need dolphins in a swimming pool to demonstrate that. What we thought about what was okay 40 years ago is not what we think now. And society's feelings on this kind of thing naturally change and evolve. And Marineland is a thing of the past.
But if Steve Dawson thought the world had changed, then he hadn't counted on the people of Napier.
I kept on saying, well, aren't we going to ask the public what they want? So I just went out and asked the public what they wanted. And
Harry Lawson, a Napier councillor for 18 years.
This is the first time that we've actually got the public saying, this is what we want, and this is the idea of the petition.
He organised a public meeting and a petition calling on the government to grant a permit to allow Marineland to import dolphins. It showed support beyond anyone's wildest dreams.
13,500 signatures.
13,588.
You're pretty proud of that, aren't you?
Not so much proud, more surprised and amazed, yeah.
Some people say that the time for these sorts of places has gone, that animals like this shouldn't be in captivity anymore.
Oh, you're talking about the PC brigade. We can't smack our kids, and now they're talking about sort of, banning fireworks. I mean, PC has got out of hand. I'm talking about the ordinary New Zealander, and lots of New Zealanders don't own boats and sort of don't have access. What the beauty of Marineland is, they can get up close to the animals and interact with them.
Harry and his supporters' chances of success are slim, but they're not giving up. They're still lobbying the local MP, Russell Fairbrother.
This is about families, young people that are always crying out that they have nothing to do.
If Kelly dies in the next 3 months, I mean, it might be easier to put this whole thing on the back burner.
Harry is in fact a lone voice on the Napier Council in supporting more dolphins for Marineland.
But what my main problem is that I don't have any backing in the City Council.
What are the chances of another dolphin
Very
from Marineland?
slight. Incredibly slight.
Barbara Arnott has been Napier's mayor for the past 5 years.
In the 70s, Napier was the only place in New Zealand that you could see dolphins, and great that people could learn about them in that way. Now there's 50 different habitats around New Zealand where you can see dolphins in the wild. My opinion is that we've moved on.
Well, to be honest with you, I don't really care what the mayor thinks. What I think doesn't really matter either, or the other councillors what they think. What I'm doing with a passion is just reflecting what my community wants. We go down the track.
But not all the community. Harry and his supporters have received hate mail and threats.
I've been called Nazi. I've been called, well, other things that I really didn't want to put on camera, but it hasn't been pleasant.
There's been controversy around dolphins for as long as they've been jumping through Marineland's hoops. In the past, the animals were dressed up. Back in the 1980s, there was strong opposition to capturing them in the wild.
And so one dolphin dies. It is awful. I hate it. I love the dolphins. I love all the animals.
She's on the correct run-up. She's cruising on around.
And today, the dolphin petition is a sore point.
Up and over, left to right. No problem.
The council owns Marineland. And when Sunday tried to ask manager Gary McDonald for his opinion, we ran into trouble.
What did you think when they came up with the petition?
Initially, I was sort of... I thought it was great that somebody actually got off their butts and tried. That's the first thing. Knowing how entrenched the government attitude was about dolphins, I never thought it would...
But I think that's just an unfair question
Okay.
to hear.
All right.
A council minder was present, and he didn't like the question.
Well, Gary said he was prepared to answer it.
I'm sorry.
Is this a touchy subject, the petition?
Oh, no, not the petition. No, petitions are a valid form of lobbying Parliament. Why not?
Well, when we asked Gary about an opinion on the petition, he was stopped by a council representative.
Well, Gary's in a position whereby he has cared for dolphins for, I mean, they have been his life, and the staff at Marineland are incredibly dedicated, and I think it's putting them in a very difficult position because they see that if Marineland did close, say, I mean, that's their future, that's their job, their livelihood. That is sensitive, definitely.
And she's going to give you all a big welcoming wave. Check it out.
All eyes are now on Kelly,
Oh, very nice, Kelly.
New Zealand's last and loneliest captive dolphin. Everybody, it seems, is sitting around waiting for nature to reach its inevitable conclusion.
How much longer can Kelly live for?
How long is a piece of string? You know, I mean, obviously what's stacked against us is the fact that she's already, 36 years of age, so she's really old.
And when Kelly goes, it seems, so goes Marineland. The Conservation Minister says Marineland can put in an application to import a dolphin bred in captivity, but it will need council support.
Oil, bring her on back.
Realistically, though, Marineland's dead in the water, isn't it?
Realistically, it is, unless the people of Napier want to pay $15 million and the government wants to go against their own policy of not importing or capturing dolphins.
Can you see a marine parade in Napier without Marineland?
I think you should rephrase that question. Can you see New Zealand without a marine land? And I say it would be a loss to us nationally that if people wanted to see marine animals up close, if they wanted to see them up close, they would have to go to Australia, which would be pretty sad, I would think.
And here she comes. Once that fire, she comes right up and straight over the beautiful leaf of Laura's